Hey guys, Darren Carr here, Coach of Wise Ocean Pods, and welcome back to another episode of our round review series. And finally, we've hit the buys because my team definitely needs it. If you look at my round rank and score for this week, it was a 2008, and yeah, round rank of 46k. Not where I want to be, and the buys could not have come sooner because we are just spiraling out of control at this point in time, and I just don't know how to fix it. Overall rank now 14k, so yeah, absolutely shocking at the moment. But let's have a bit of a deep dive into why my team did so poorly. So overall, I thought the defense did pretty well. Luke Ryan was definitely huge. I should have EC'd him in the end, but I sort of got scared off a little bit. Nick Martin did well. Hayden Young, probably a bit underwhelming these two, but not too concerned there with Lockie Whitfield and Hayden Young. Bonner, 65, obviously well under what he has been doing previously, and definitely could be a trade target if you don't have too many other concerns. Obviously, it's buy now, so you should be moving off players that have their buy, or at least getting your structure set up for the coming buys. But yeah, he definitely could be one that can go now that he's got a break even of 95, which he could definitely hit. He's got the Eagles this week, so not too concerned there. I did end up trading Sexton in, so an 81 from him I was pretty pleased with. Went up to 49k, not too concerned there. Surprisingly, Howes did get dropped on the Friday night, so that was a little bit disappointing. I may have to look to move him on this weekend. Just, yeah, obviously want green dots on my team, so he may be one that just moves off, given that we have 3 trades this week, and he has a fair bit of money on his head, so I definitely could use that. Pinky probably earns his spot to stay again. He's been okay recently. He's not going to be one I want to put in my field, but yeah, he's definitely a decent, he's not causing me any problems at the moment. I would love to move him on because he's not making too much cash, but yeah, he's just there. The midfield is where I constantly get hurt all year, just always underperforming. So Zach Butters, Zach Merritt went okay. I ended up taking the VC from him, or the 109. Not super happy with it, but I just ended up banking it. I was going into max score, but sort of got scared off with the whole fitness test and this calf strapping and whatnot. So I thought he could have been managed at any point, but he absolutely slapped that game. He put all the worries away for anyone that was considering trading him out, and anyone that traded him last year was, he would be very pissed off, and it was very unfortunate that he did have to come up against the best ruckman in the competition, I would have to say. Bontempelli was underperforming. Dom Green, easiest matchup, still 91. That's not good enough. Copped a Saligo management. He got subbed out at halftime, which is just really unfortunate. Went down 39k, high break even now, so bit of a tricky one with him. I think it's just a hold, unfortunately. I think he still will be decent enough in the next coming games. He's got 2 easy matchups before coming up against Sydney Swans, and then has his bye where I move him off anyway. So hopefully he can jump up his cash again and at least stop that bleeding. Oliver was a bit underperforming, but I think he got a little bit of attention in this game from Windhager. Sharp, surprisingly, was nearly my best midfielder, and he may be one that I have to look at keeping now. He's just been so good, been so consistent. Well, he's averaging pretty much like 99 in the last 4 or whatever that is, so really good. He's just skyrocketing, and his price, it doesn't look like it's going to stop anytime soon. I ended up taking Closey's score as an emergency. I sort of looped him on, just fearing that it was against Carlton, and they can be a tougher matchup at times, so just in case he had a bit of a stinker score, I could have maybe looped on a Harvey Thomas or something like that. So that worked out well. Garcia ended up being the C, so that worked well. I'll need to probably move off him this week as well, being a red dot. Would be nice if he comes in, but I don't see it. Ruckline, 1 good, 1 terrible. English is just killing me again. What else can I say? He's just been shocking. Was a harder matchup for him, so I did sort of expect it, but yeah, hopefully he can bounce back. But he's got a hard matchup again this week. But no Mason Cox is going to be interesting. 1-on-1 with Darcy Cameron. We'll see how he goes. Flanders being laid out didn't hurt me too much. I did have Joe Frazier there with a 64 from the Thursday night, so yeah, I was fine, happy to take that. But the rest of my mid forward line was just shocking, really. McRae 58, Tom Power 73, which I'm not too disappointed about, but it is what it is. Nat 5, 48. Shocking. Just get him out of my team now. I can't keep staring at him. Would have loved if I could keep holding to his bye, but I may need to move him on this week. Harley Reid did alright in there in the end. 58. I'll take it from a rookie. Bench is looking pretty healthy though, so not too concerned with how we're going. Just need to probably move off a few red dots here. Barnett will be staying though, unfortunately. He'll be staying for the year. So yeah, that's how my team went. I'm struggling to see where the points are made up. I don't know where. I don't have Dacos. That's probably an extra 40 points on my head, especially if you have it in VC'd. Who else was there? You got Walsh, 114, stuff like that. Just not having any of the big names and just looking at the price of my midfielders, it's just, killing me. Not having Dawson, just, need to start getting these big guys in, but I don't know how to get them in. I don't have the coin, so. But we'll stop looking at my team, I guess. Quickly looking at my trades. I thought my trades were pretty good in the end. Got off a red dot and then a brown dot in Dry Clark, who's actually did okay, but he has been suspended for the one game, so he just can't catch some luck there. Made over about 100k from my 2 trade-ins, so trades are going really well. It's just the rest of my team are not, unfortunately. But let's just quickly go through all the games and go from there. So Thursday night was Bulldogs versus Sydney. Sydney got the chockies there. So Dale went big, 103, so he got the ton there. Bontempelli, second highest scorer of the team, but 98, pretty poor. Just Bulldogs have lost their way, I think. They're just not the highest scoring team that they used to be. So I think that's a massive factor why, Bontempelli and English aren't scoring as high as they once have previous years. And I'm probably just living in the past too much. Need to move into the new age and get off these guys eventually. But we'll see how we go. English, I spoke about him. Just sort of got dominated in the ruck against Brody Grundy. So it was 28 hitouts to 46. Just got absolutely slapped. Yeah, and anyone that has Brody Grundy, do you move off him now? Probably not. Surprisingly, Cherry and Grundy are probably the more informed ruckmen, so maybe you just hold him for the year. Riley Sanders came in for his first game after being a late in. He was the sub though, so that's probably a bit of a concern. Did come in within like 3 minutes or something after Scott got injured in a concussion. He did well, so anyone that's still holding him, he's probably going to make some coin from now on if he can stay on the team. Richard's been unfortunate for those that traded him in. He got concussed, I think, somewhere in the third quarter. So, he was on track for a massive one, probably putting up like 120. But, subbed out early on in that third quarter. So, really, probably have to move him on. I'd say he's probably going to be 1 week concussion, and then he's back the week after. But then Liberatore is not far behind him. So, it's probably time to jump off him, unfortunately. Fraser did well as a rookie. I'm glad I picked him up. I need to change this as picked up. No one else really of relevance besides Jack McRae, who's just shit. Needs to go, unfortunately. But probably stays on my side until the bye. Just one of those things that he's going to pop up for a big game, probably even next week, but he just doesn't look like he wants to get anywhere near the ball. Spoke about Grundy. Errol Gordon is probably one that we need to target after his bye, so as early as next week. He just looked really good in that game, really thirsty as he always is. 97% time on ground is just ridiculous. I think that only meant he went once on the bench and he was maybe there for 2 or 3 minutes and straight back on. He's just elite there. Just super consistent. He's just awesome at the moment. No concern with him. Lloyd looks like he has a bit of that rollback. Could be someone that we can consider soon. He's getting pretty cheap. No one else really of concern here, I don't think. Besides, obviously, Robert 2 was a sub. Came on pretty late in that fourth, I think. Played 9% time game and 24 points. Which, in 9% games, that's pretty good, but yeah. Move on to the next game. Come on, load up. My boy Luke Ryan, 144, went big. Should have EC'd him, but I didn't. Lesson learned, I guess. He just went massive in this game. Just got every single thing. Dry Clark, I told you that once he got over that 100, his floodgates would be open. So Yeah, he looks really good, and he's obviously that main distributor doing it better than the likes of Whitfield and stuff at the moment. So he looks really good. Would I trade him in though? It's a tough one because he's obviously rising in price now. I don't know if he's going to be top 6. He could definitely be close, but I don't know if I could pick him up just yet. Well, yeah, I'll have to look at it a bit later. Sharp, probably not moving off from him for now. He's just getting a lot of shots at goal as well. Like if he was a bit cleaner with it, he could have definitely won this game for the Freo. So yeah, he looks really good. Just getting so much space. Wouldn't be surprised if some teams start putting a better wingman on him just to give him some more attention, but we'll just have to wait and see on that one. Caleb Strong got the ton, just tackled his way there, so that was really pleasing for their owners. Probably not what you wanted from a VC. I know a fair few people went there. Hayden Young crept up to 94, a bit unders, but you're going to have these games here and there. He'll probably go big next week, so no concern there. Luke Jackson, 67 there. A little bit disappointing for anyone that's still holding him, but yeah, they've got Shrek back now, so maybe make some trades, make some plans to move off of him as early as next week or even this week. Nat Fife needs to go. Gets so much of the ball, just does nothing else. It's so frustrating. Gives too many free kicks away. Just need to move off of him. That's it from there. Got a few rookies just discuss on here. Nick Dacos, I need to get him in, man. He looks too good, but he's now up to 970k. So I'm trying to make my trades as best as possible to get him this week, just because I think it fits my buy structure the best. Need a defender in that round 15, so I really want to get him, and I'll sort of break my team to get him, I reckon. Chris, anyone that picked him up, did really well. Had a slow start, but yeah, he just absolutely killed it in that sort of second half. 10 tackles, 5 marks, only 18 disposals, so yeah, just does everything else right to get to that big score. Richards, here's probably the talk of the week so far. He was massive in this game. Now has a negative 24 break even or 21, something like that. But it has since come out that he has a foot fracture, so he's out for the next 4 weeks. So if you're looking to trade him in this week, reverse your trades. Don't pick him up. He's not going to be around anytime soon. Harvey Harris probably should be highlighted as well. I think he's about 300k or so he could be another pickup. I don't think his break-even's super low. It's probably in the 20s or if not in the low teens. So he could be one you could look to pick up. He looks pretty good in this game, and his job security should be a bit better with a few injuries. Moving on. And Sullivan, same sort of thing. Had a pretty good game. Plenty of disposals, just didn't have many of the tackles or marks. Had 2 shots at goal, missed both of them. Lower break even, I think it's in the low teens or even in the single digits. These 2 rookies down here probably aren't worth mentioning. Both didn't really make much coin. Both just got their break even, so not really worth looking at them just yet. But there's a lot of injury concerns going at the Collingwood, so there's definitely some security there for any rookies that we're looking to pick up. So definitely one to consider. Maybe pay up for Sullivan this week is maybe something I'm looking at now that Richards is done. On to the next game. Northern Port. So Port smashed him. Cherry 120. He just gets it done. Now he's got his price going in the right direction again. Now it's just a really tough call now for anyone that was sort of planning to move off of him, because yeah, if you have Cherry and Grundy, which I wouldn't think would be a super popular combination, it's more like it'd be Gawn and Cherry, which I would say probably just stick fat with. I don't think he's doing anything too wrong. Like at the end of the day, I think he's averaging like over 100, and he's not too far off of the likes of Marshall, English, those likes. I think Gawn's probably the only one that you massively need. But in saying that, we have obviously seen what's his name? Marshall go massive in the last sort of month, so he could easily go back to these ways that this week. He's got West Coast Eagles, so he could go back to being berserk again, but his price is definitely going to be coming down now, so maybe he could wait a few weeks, maybe after his buy. It's something to consider. Luke Davies-Uniacke, anyone that's still holding him is starting to find some form, so maybe we can look at him soon. He's getting plenty of disposals, a couple marks here, just not tackling as much as what we sort of expect from him. Fisher, 32 disposals, 8 marks, 112 in a harder matchup for defenders. Just gets it done. Need to target him after his buy as well. He's in my trade plans. Sheasel got it done in the end, 106. A little bit disappointing probably for owners, but it was a tougher matchup, so I guess you take it. Did look pretty good. I think he had a bit more of the CBAs in this game, so that role is definitely improving. Let's have a quick look. 88. Wow, yeah. Definitely jumped up in CBAs. So, yeah, role was definitely improving. So, definitely one probably wouldn't be jumping off now. Oops. Yeah, I may even have to look to jump back on at some stage, but I'm glad he's losing some coin. I can get him cheap. Power, just mediocre. He's doing all the right things, just not getting a huge score. 6 tackles, just not going to get his hands on the ball as much. Was his roll reduced again? No, still 58%, so I'm happy with that. I'll probably have to move off with him eventually, but at this point in time, I'm happy to hold him. Probably hold him to the buys just with my structure. I don't think I need to move off of him. And Combin, everyone that's still holding him. Put up a decent score for you. Pinky. Playing a bit more forward and sort of like a swingman for them. So hopefully that means his job security is a bit better at the moment. So yeah, hopefully that goes well. The only one probably mentioned here is Liam Shields. He's doing a bit of a tagging role on people, so it's probably one to keep an eye on in future weeks. Travis Boak is probably another one that we need to discuss because he has DPP now. He is now a forward, so he is another forward option for us. It's just, he's 35. He had an awesome game. I mean, he's been super good recently. I won't lie, but it's just his role. I think he's playing more of a half forward winger role, which I wouldn't have thought would be super great for him, but I swear I even saw him in the halfback this week, so it's super hard to tell what his role is going to be, and he's definitely going to be due for a rest at some stage, so I'm not sure if I'd be worth picking him up. Definitely one you can look at if you're looking for a bit more of a risky pick. If it helps your buys as well, if you're a bit light on next week, then I definitely could recommend it. We'll move on from there. Only ones he came back and sort of repaid those that held him last week with a 30 or something like that. So it's still holding him. Did well. Butters, like I said, got tagged in this game by Liam Shields. So the shackles sort of got released in the second half, but he just couldn't get his hands on the ball enough to recover. Lower time on ground, so I think there was a bit of management as well in this game. Just obviously they had the game in hand, so they'll manage their players a little bit, which is a bit weird considering they have the bye as early as next week. But hopefully he can get a big score coming up. Horn Francis, anyone that jumped on him put up an 80, so you're probably okay with that. Sweet, 66, probably a bit unders from what we sort of expected in this sort of game, but still made, I think, 40k, so that's pretty good. McEntee probably one that we could look at in terms of a rookie downgrade. I think he's like low 300k, so we're really struggling for downgrade options. I think his job security has jumped up a little bit. He's played the last 4 games all out and put up some pretty decent scores and could make some money from here now that his break-even's on the right direction. And Rosie is probably the talk here with 43, massive break-even, lower time on ground and just spent like most of the game forward. I think he just got managed. He had a tweak of the ankle pretty early and he was pretty sore. So apparently he's even in a moon boot. So definitely a big watch there if he doesn't play this weekend. It just sucks for anyone that did hold him the last couple of weeks. That's just struggle towns and it's a season killer, honestly. Hold him for 2 weeks, then he comes back and puts that on his head and losing more money. I think you just have to jump off if he doesn't play. Upgrade him to a primo. It's just unfortunate. And I think that sort of does it for this game. We'll move on to the next one. Carlton beat the Suns by, 28 points. Pretty good game there. Pretty boring game for me in terms of fantasy. I only had 2 players, so I had Sexton and Closey. Walsh did what Walsh does, put up a decent 114. You're happy with that. Didn't get as many tackles, got plenty of marks, which was probably pleasing for most owners. He looks pretty good. Getting pretty pricey now. I'm particularly heavy on the round 14 buy, which I think he has, so I'm not looking to pick him up at all just yet. Cripps put up another decent score. Not anything to talk about there, really. Mackay, that has him 80. He's probably happy with that. A really high scoring game from the Collingwood, not Collingwood, Colton. Like most of the players are 70 plus, which is pretty good. Just a well even spread, I guess. Would like to see a few more ceiling scores from players, but can't all get what we want, I guess. Gold Coast, a few relevant names here, I guess. Sexton, 81, fourth highest scorer in the team, so that was pleasing to see after, like an 81, probably expected a little bit more for most people. I realistically expected just 70s, and I was happy with that, but 81, definitely happy with that, especially being the fourth highest in his team, so I think his scoring will definitely increase as, they get their hands on the ball a bit more. It was just a tough matchup. Took, he's been really disappointing, and yeah, unfortunately, if anyone that's owned him, that's just, it hurts. Probably maybe look to move off of him on his bye, or look for the run, I guess. Closely, probably one more week, or just hold him to his bye now. His break even's pretty much at where he's averaging now. Where is he? Yeah, 62, 77. So maybe one more week, or even just hold him to his bye, I'd say. If you need to use a cash on his head to move on, then I definitely could support that. I said that last week as well. Anderson, he sucks. And I don't mean to say that, but he just is so inconsistent. He has one big game, he has one small game, one big game, one small game. He just then he just mellows out. It's just unfortunate for anyone that jumps on. You're going to have the highs and you're going to have the lows, and I just can't look at him. Hurts too much. Sort of like Butters sometimes has big games, sometimes has small games. And no one else really super relevant in this game, I don't think. Rogers was a sub, so yeah. Still can do there. Yeah, that's about it. Seems like all the relevant games are sort of in Sunday, so we'll get to them shortly. Holmes. I'm kicking myself for not starting him this season. He would have been such a good pick, and congrats to anyone that did start him. He has been so good and sneakily sort of sneaking into the top 6 defenders now, and possibly a hold for the year. He looks so good, and he's just constantly getting it done. I think his last 3 have been hundreds now, after having most 90s and been super consistent. So yeah, congrats to anyone that started him. Would I jump on him? Probably not. He's a bit pricey now. And yeah, I'm not sure if he's going to stay top 6 for a long time. He's had a pretty good run up to this point, so maybe he gets some harder matchups coming. I think they have... who do they have this week? I can't remember. But I think they have another easy match coming up. Stewart put up at a 89, so still not great. I think that's just him. He's going to be a 90 guy at his limit. I don't think he's got much more than that to give. He had a really good game, like interception-wise, like obviously Supercoach 110. You look at that, so probably one if you'd still had him, make plans to trade out of him at Aspire. Conway, anyone that traded him in did really well. He's made a fair bit of coin, so he's been one that's been pretty good. Got unfortunately subbed out. I think they were just looking for a bit more speed, so they threw Blitzarv in the ruck for maybe the last quarter or so. That's just a tactical thing. They were getting smashed, so they needed to make a few changes. Hopefully he stays in though. He's been really good, I thought, as a ruckman. Myers had a low score game as a forward, but I think most of the forwards had pretty low scoring games this week, so not too concerned with him there. Dry Clark put up a big score of 61. Like I said, he did get the one match suspension, so he won't be playing next week, and then he has... it doesn't have any bye, but he could possibly be out after that. We'll wait and see. And Dempsey, if anyone's still holding him, he dropped a stinker 43. If you're relying on that on field, that would have hurt a little bit. On to the WWS, we had Toby Green that put up probably his first big score for the year, finding some form a little bit, so he's getting cheap. Maybe one we could look at if you're looking for a short-term sort of forward player. Let me drink real quick. Tom Green, 28 disposals, 6 tackles. Just no marks, man. No marks. 91 points. Break even at 121, so he's still going backwards. Tom Graham was much better, and obviously the role's really good, but yeah, he is super cheap for anyone that is looking to jump on him very shortly. So he's going to have a break even to 105 next week. I'd absolutely jump on that. He is well underpriced from what he started as, 240k. To think I jumped on him 3 weeks ago and he was 900k, like low 900ks. And I thought that was cheap. 700k is just ridiculous. So jump on board if you are keen on him. Whitfield put up an 90. Wasn't too bad. Looked like he had a lot more form. Didn't have much attention in this game, so that was good. Just not getting many of the marks, unfortunately. Was he getting kickouts as well? I thought he was still main kickout taker. Yeah, still plenty of kickouts. So, yeah, no concern there for me. I think it's an easy hold for this week. It's still top 6 in my eyes, so no concern for me. Peatling came in this week after a few injuries, so he made a bit of coin. 57 is probably a bit unders from what you would have expected in this matchup, but he did alright for anyone that jumped on him. I had a bit of interest in him, could have done it, but didn't quite. Had a lot of CBAs, I thought, as well, so maybe it's one we could pay out for. What do you have? 42, so not too bad. Callahan was in there, and then obviously Cornelio was subbed out pretty early on with a dislocated shoulder. So it looks like I'll probably be green. Cornelio. Kelly's still a little while away. I don't know what Ward's doing. I'm going to have to look at the injury report there. But Peatling's probably going to get some decent CBA usage in the next couple of weeks. I think he's nearly at 500k now, though. So it's a bit more pricey, but if you can get to him, I wouldn't discourage you. A couple more rookies down here. So Thomas can probably go this week. I was probably planning to hold him, and he could provide some decent scores on field, but he's just gone backwards. Not going to provide anything major. He's just going to end up probably being not part of my best 18 anyway. So if it suits my structure and as long as I can field 22, I'll possibly move him on. And Cadman still needs to move him on, and he definitely needs to go. His buy is perfect time to move him on, so I would just do that. Probably the last week I'll mention those two. Richmond and Essendon. Essendon got over the Tigers there just by 12 points. Really low scoring game again from the Richmond. Just are not a fantasy relevant team, so I'm not looking at any of these guys. Bolton, not really too keen. Did have a good game. Did get subbed out in the end, or not subbed out, I don't think. Yeah, I did get subbed out again. Sorry, he got like knee in the back of the head, and his neck didn't look great. So big watch to see this week. If he does play, he could be a bit injured. I'm not sure how his neck's doing. They could just rest him at the end of the day. Baker came back after 2 weeks of that corky, so put up a 72 is definitely not what you would have wanted if you were a holder. That was pretty shocking. McAuliffe is probably the number one trade-in target in terms of a downgrade. He's 292k. Looked really good. Good break-even. So he's definitely my trade plans. He's probably the easiest one to grab off the lot. Campbell put up a 55. Bet he's break-even, so he made a bit more money. Definitely one I could jump off if I wanted to, but I think I might just hold him just because I think his job security is pretty solid in that side. So he can definitely put up some decent scores on his day. Just not hitting the scoreboard as much as I would like him to. Essendon. So we got Ridley, who came back for his first game of the season, and he absolutely killed it. 132, and definitely needs to be considered in future weeks, if not even go this week. I've looked at him. I just think my buys particularly aren't going to allow me to do it. I've already pretty heavy in round 14 in terms of primos and mid prices, so I'd probably stay away. For me personally, but if you are light on that area, it's just mean you're going to probably push up to 2 defenders because most people already have Nick Martin in their side, so you'd push up to 2 defenders there. But I think the main thing that interests me with him is that obviously this is the first time we've seen him play alongside Ben Mackay. Obviously we saw a lot of him last year where he was the main lockdown defender. This year, he's going to be a lot more freed up with Ben Mackay being that lockdown defender. So he reminds me of like a Sicily. He loves to intercept. Like we just look at the Supercoach, 162. So we know I think he had like 11 intercept sessions. took a couple kick-ins. It wasn't as many as I sort of expected. They sort of spread the load a lot, which is a bit concerning. Definitely looks like Martin's lost that role, which we've seen over the last sort of month or so, which is a bit disappointing for him, and it probably reduces his ceiling. Probably won't trust him with the C or the VC much anymore. Definitely looks like they prefer McGrath, and now Ridley's probably snuck into third place there. So, yeah, definitely one I'm looking at. Probably give it until after his buy, just because, like I said, doesn't suit my buy structure. He is cheap, below 800k at the moment. He probably will be over 800k this week if he does put up a decent score again. Need to look at his run in terms of what the run's saying, if it's going to be a good trade or not. But it definitely interests me for sure. So I wouldn't discourage you if you're looking in that area. Nick Hind, I know a couple of people that jumped on him this week just given he was cheap and he was playing, but I just have no interest there, unfortunately. He is their whipping boy, and I've said it multiple times. He could definitely be the sub at any point. I know he's played the last sort of 3 matches like back to back, but even against North, he put up the 50. So be prepared for a stinker score this week against the Suns, and even the week after. So just be prepared for that. He is definitely liable of putting up a big stinker score for you. But at 470k, you can't be too disappointed. You can't expect too much, I guess. Zach Merritt did okay, 109. Definitely expected more in this game given it was against Richmond, so I had the VC on him. Bit disappointed. Had 31 disposals, which is good. Just no tackles really. He's not a tackler. He's not the tackle machine in there, unfortunately. This role, I don't know how I feel about it. He sort of just floats in the midfield, not really floating to stoppages as much. He goes in there for the centre bounce, and that's about it. So they're trying to use him as a bit more of a transition guy, which is a bit unfortunate. Hopefully he comes good. I still reckon he's going to be top 8 at the end of the year, but yeah, he's just not quite getting those ceiling scores that I'm looking for. Already spoke about Nick Martin a little bit concerned with his role. Obviously lost the kickouts. He's been moved forward a couple of times so far. I think even on the weekend he was there for maybe a quarter or so, but yeah, little bit concerned there. I think his ceiling's just gone a little bit, but I still think he can maintain a top 6 defender status for sure. Caldwell was hot in the first half. I think it was in like 55 at the half. Just really slowed up in the second. Just think the rotations sort of screw him over every week. 70% time on ground, which is pretty low. Which you think for a player like him, he could definitely outrun the game. Just a bit of management, I guess. So anyone that still has him, I still think he's worth a hold, just given that Parrish and Setterfield are still out. Wouldn't be looking to move him on if you were. And that's probably done it for that game. Let's move on to the Hawthorn v Brisbane, where my boys got up. I picked them, so that was good. Bet them by 25 points. So we got the bit of a what would you call it? I guess a spoon. I don't know how to describe it. We've beaten them over the last 5 encounters since 2019, so that's really good. But more talking about fantasy. Amon 125. Yeah, he is just our main guy back there. He looks really good. Just has some lower games, some higher games. He gets a bit of attention here and there, so one to watch. Will Day, another big score for him. Just loves to sort of get the love, spreads the love in his stats, so which is what I love about him at the moment. Doesn't have huge amount of disposal, but he's definitely capable of it. Teammates look for him as well, so he's getting a lot more marking. We obviously know he has quite a marking prowess, so that's really nice for him if anyone jumped on him last week. Tackle numbers are really good. He tackles really hard. Price going in the right direction now. He's still like 740k, so still quite cheap if you're looking to jump on someone like that, if you can only get up to that price. I've been playing with that option this week. Sicily had a pretty good game. He's back-to-back 90, so slowly starting to become a bit more of an option now. Not really sure why his role's changed. I still think he's the second lockdown defender, only obviously behind Frost, so I'm probably not looking to jump on until they bring in a proper tool, a second tool to free him up a little bit. But he's definitely cheap and one to keep a hold of. Jai Newcomb, yeah, it's just him. He's just at 87, so yeah, probably just wipe him off your list if you're looking at him. I don't think he's going to be that person. Hopefully he wasn't outside. Dylan Moore, 78. That's no, 69 points. Was a little bit disappointing. Started well, kicked the goal early, and I thought he was on for a big one, but just slowed up. And that's what happens with these forwards. Sometimes they just get a bit of attention and they get locked down. So that's just what happens with him. They know how important he is to the Hawthorn side, so does cop a bit of attention here and there. Brisbane Lions, Neil got another decent score, but probably not looking at him. Just super inconsistent. Loman, anyone that picked up him is just absolutely been killing. He has been awesome for you guys. In terms of fantasy, he is going to provide plenty of cash and could definitely be a difference maker for those that did pick him up. Dunkley disappointing in what was an easy matchup. Plenty of disposals, just probably not enough contribution elsewhere. Zorko was the really disappointing one. Really, to get to an 80 was lucky for owners. He was on 28 at half time. He was just nowhere near the ball. He was getting plenty of free kicks away. Just didn't look on. I don't think there was too much of attention on him. Just like what I said in the preview. I just think Hawthorn like to have like a bit of a run roll with, not like a tag, just more of a keep him accountable, don't give him too much of the free ball. So really worked in our favour and could be a bit of a flag in terms of, shut down Zorko, maybe you shut down Brisbane Lions. So bit of a watch there for me. Obviously has a bye this week, so can't see too much more, but his break-even is definitely a bit higher now. I think it won the 120s, so tosses up a few questions whether we look at him after his bye or maybe down the track later on. I think I've removed him from my trade plans at this point in time, just because he's still super expensive. He's like over $1 million, and I think Fisher is more of a must-have than he is at this point in time. Reveal, anyone that jumped on him, he looked really good, providing plenty of good scores, so he is pretty much locked in that side. I think he looks really good. A couple more games here to go through. Hopefully it might even be a shorter episode this week. Max Gorn went ballistic, like I said. Pretty much broke his break even, so he's not dropping too much coin. I think he lost 1k in the end. Just the whole, the calf strapping, the fitness test, the news that he could have been out early on was enough to scare me off, even though I knew it was such an easy matchup and I was confident going the C into it, just scared me off a little bit. If you don't have him, make your plans to get him in at some point. He's just such a good ruckman. Just, a little bit worried about that injury there. Salem, he's back. He is back. 2 weeks in a row he's gone over 100 and gone big. 14 marks, 32 disposals. Just, does he have the role? I don't like the season. We seem to be constantly going back to these guys that we had at the start of the season who have, let us down in the past. So no CBAs this week, but he didn't need CBAs to get the score that he got against the easiest matchup. So probably was to be predicted, I guess, in the end. Maybe just make that a bit of a red flag. It was against West Coast and then St Kilda, who are awesome for defenders, so could definitely put up a smaller score. So that's the only flag I'd say. But he's super cheap for what he can do. If you're looking for a bit of a quick cash grab and get you through to the buys, if it works for you. Like I said, I can't give him my buy structure, so I won't do that. Oliver, 85, I think copped a bit of attention from a Windhager, so to get to an 85, happy with. Moving in the right direction still with his cash, just would like some bigger scores from him. Petrarca still just being shocking, but getting really cheap, so keep him on the watch list. That's probably about it from them guys. St Kilda, a few relevant names here. So Jack Steele looks back, looks really healthy again. He's just chops and change sometimes. No tackles this week. Well, obviously 2 tackles, but definitely lower than what we sort of expect from him. 10 marks though. That's he just seems to get it done, whether it's tackles or it's marks or just amount of disposals. He is a sexy man, so yeah, anyone that had some concerns, I wouldn't be too concerned now. Maybe if you don't have him yet, like myself, then I need to start making some plans to get him in if he does become fit again. Wangan Mulera scraped over to 100, 108. You'd be happy with that from him. Sinclair, 98. Did okay. No marks in this game, so a bit of concern there, but a 98 you're happy with. Paddy Dow's probably one that probably needs a bit more airtime. Low time on ground, which is the only concern for me. If he had that, if that was a 80% time and he was getting 80, like an 80, but he's priced at 500k, I'd absolutely jump on that. But that percentage, I don't get why he's in his 7th fucking rookie season. How is he still this unfit? You'd think he's got the tank by now. He's mature age. What is he doing? Is he going to make it as a AFL footballer? I'm yet to see it. So, probably one I'm just avoiding for now. Bit of a watch list for me. Wilson's still hurting me. He is just cracked and probably one that is just going to be top 6 forward at this point in time. I think he's averaging like something ridiculous, like in the 80s at the moment. So, anyone that still has him, just look to hold him for now. He looks really good and just providing so much for this top side. Bonner, his first sort of bad score, didn't lose any coin, which is good. But I know a few people are looking to move off of him, which I don't disagree with. I think his time definitely is coming up pretty shortly, but I think it's worth holding him through to his bye. What's his run like in the end? Is he still getting kickouts? Is the other thing? St Kilda. West Coast this week, Gold Coast and Brisbane. So it's not great in terms of matchups, but we know what he can do. I think he's fine, in my opinion. I personally just have other things that I need to do to fix my side. Here's at least my problems. And Marshall 63, like I said, got absolutely owned by Max Gawn. Just look at that, 34 hit outs to 16, 6 free kicks against, so he just wasn't his day. 13 disposals, Gawn just didn't allow him to do what Marshall does and take it out of the ruck and just put it on the boot and get all those extra +3. So that's just the game plan that most ruckmen should go against him, but you don't come against Max Gawn every week, so I'm not really too concerned about him there. But for all of us non-owners, it was definitely a pleasing sight to see him not put up a big score on us, especially those that did have him. So, and the final game of the week, we had the Crows absolutely demolished the West Coast Eagles. Dawson, absolutely ballistic in this first quarter. I think he was on like 60 or 59 or something like that. Kicked 2 goals, had like 9 or so disposals, plenty of marks. Could have gone big, but I managed a fair bit. Played a lot more forward than what you would have liked, but that's just how it happens with these games that are in hand. You're going to have that a fair bit. But still get a 123 from him. You're happy with that if you had him for captain. He looks prime for the picking. I still think he's a great pickup option if you don't have him. Matt Crouch, anyone that still has him, I still think he's a hold. Good run. Really, just getting it done. Anyone that started him has been pleasantly surprised and held him through that suspension. So, no one else really too relevant here, unfortunately. Don't have the likes of Rankin at the moment, and obviously Sligo got subbed out at half times, which is super disappointing for the likes of me. Was on track. He was on 37 at half time, so I was expecting sort of an 80 by the end. I would have taken that, but yeah, super disappointing. He got subbed out, so hopefully he's good to go for the rest of until he's bye now. Hopefully he can make it up to me and put some decent scores there, but he's not super fantasy relevant. He has been a failed pick in the end, hasn't done too much, so yeah, my bad trade there, unfortunately. West Coast, just no fantasy relevant players here at all. Like, high score 91, just, ridiculous. Yo came back, 72. Anyone that held him through that would be very severely disappointed. Probably jump off of him. I thought he was going to get subbed out again because he grabbed at that groin. Like, it was definitely discomforting for him, so bit of a concern there. Harley Reid made his break even, so not too concerned there. 7 free kicks 4. The umpires just love him, man. It's just the way he goes at it. He's just so tough and wants to constantly give off the fend off, and because he's a bit shorter in that terms, he just gets the highs against him all the time. So yeah, it's a good way to get some fantasy points, I guess. But that sort of does it in terms of all the games. Not too many relevant players, I guess, that we're looking at. But it is the buyers. So what are we looking at in terms of trades, I guess? So you can see here I've already moved all my buy players to the bench. So I've got, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 currently. So my team's looking pretty good so far. So I'm hopefully going to be able to field my full 22 this week. I should, but then it's just that Howes is a red dot and Garcia is a red dot more than likely. So I'll probably have to trade those two out and get 2 more guys in. And then it's sort of like, what do I do on my last trade? Do I move on a Fife and then trade someone in that's going to play as well? Because that would mean I'd need to trade someone that's playing. Or do I trade out someone like a Sweet who isn't doing much on my bench, not providing anything, like he's not going to come on my field at any point. I know he's going to make some decent coin again if he does play. That's the only other concern. Like, I know, what's his name? Soldo played some minutes in the ASNFL, so he could come back in this week, but I'm probably more likely that he won't. Just given they got the bye next week. I think Sweet will just play until then, and then I'll definitely look to move off him next week. So yeah, my team's looking pretty good. Well, on paper it looks good, but yeah, fucking the performance is always shit. So what can you do there? But what am I looking to do? I'll probably go... I haven't really thought too much, honestly. With the Richards news, it's a bit of a toss-up with what I'm doing, but definitely looking at probably going... Garcia. Let's move Thomas into there for now. Coolif is what I want to bring in, who's not a forward. That's a pretty obvious one. That's not going to allow me to do that. Oh my god. Let's just make that trade for now. No, not going to allow me. Of course it's not. Of course it's not. I hate making trades on this website. It is just shocking. Hello, can I get my players back, please? My god. Sorry guys, this is just so frustrating. Like I said, Garcia probably needs to go. I don't think he'll play, so I think that's an easy one to get to. And McAuliffe, and that'll be the first trade locked in. Banks me 112k there. And then it's what do I do here? I can go Howes, who probably needs to go as well. He is more than likely not going to play. If he does come back, then I'll probably hold him. Like, I think he can provide some decent scores there, and there's no point moving off of him. But then it could also be the likes of Thomas could go as well. Something I have looked at. Leaves me 900k. So, yeah. Who am I grabbing in terms of a downgrade is probably the only concern. Like, Richards obviously is out. Probably look to grab this guy to next week. So probably not going to grab him this week. Could go Harvey Thomas, who's nearly 300k. But higher break even, 7 break even, so not too great. What does it leave me? 600k, so not a whole lot. And there's not a whole lot of options I can get with that coin. Especially as a defender, I think I need. Let's go. Last 3, so of course, my mate, I could get him in, but no. Could go early on a Peatling, probably not worth it. That's probably my advice for this week, is probably don't grab anyone from this week, just because you're not certain that they're playing, unless you're like grabbing like a top line guy, like say a Fisher, for example. If you're light on this week and grabbing a Fisher this week allows you still has 22 on field, then I'd absolutely do that. If you got the coin there. But generally, you don't want to grab like a rookie from this week just because there's no guarantee they're going to play after the bye. Like, obviously, they get a rest, they could bring other players in, and they could be dropped. So probably not looking at doing that. And we have been sort of blessed this year with a lot around 15 rookies. So if you don't have a Fraser, I think he's definitely one to grab as well. McAuliffe seems like an easy option. Who else do we have there? Harvey Harrison definitely could be one that stays in the side now. Hasn't put up a huge amount of scores, but he's definitely getting up there and has been the sub a lot. So hopefully get some run of games and put some decent scores up there for us. Reveal if you want to pay up a little bit more. Probably won't make as much money from here. McEntee, as I discussed, he has been getting some decent games. Like the last 3 games, he's played the full game. Put up some pretty bad scores recently, but he can put up some decent scores when he can. Probably one I'm not super keen on. Not looking behind, as I said. Dean, could you go with a Dean? He, like I said, job security is probably there, not putting up the scores. Sullivan, do you pay up for Sullivan? His job security looks pretty good as well. Can score. And it's probably my preference, honestly. If I could get up to a Sullivan, then I wouldn't mind paying up for him there. So, but it leaves me with no coin, unfortunately. So maybe I'll look at a 200k rookie or something like that, and then pay up for, maybe a Will Day or something like that. I could even go, instead of a Harvey Thomas, and go with a Fife. Gives me a bit more coin. So let's just throw in... Who do I throw in? This is where I'm sort of stuck, guys, at the moment. Don't know if I just go, say, Ned Allen, who might play the next couple of weeks. Gives me 940k. Who can I get for that in that position? I would love to get, what's his name? Dacos, but I'm 30k off. 29k off, actually. So could I go Ridley? Do I go there? But no, I don't think I have the right buys don't let me do that. Do I go Cripps and just get on the money train for a little while? What is his run like as a midfielder? I think he's still had that role for sure. Yeah, still 80%. Midfielders, so not bad at all. And even in the back half of the year, but it's just his role's not going to stay. Is the only thing that annoys me. So I'd probably even go with a Will Day before I go with him. I'm actually quite hot on Will Day, and I think he can be quite good. Obviously, he is below price of what he can do, 122. It's just the injury concerns for me. He could definitely put up an injury. Does have a decent matchup in terms of what's coming. So let's look at Hawthorn here. Adelaide this week, so not bad. GWS is the harder one, but then look at that run after that. So 3 easy ones, and maybe by then you're a luxury season. You can maybe move off of him after this game or around this period. So that's maybe some of my game plan. I may look to jump on him. Hopefully he can put up some decent ceiling games. Just looking for those cheaper guys. I know it hasn't sort of worked for me so far with getting these cheaper guys like a Saligo. Oliver hasn't been great. Who else hasn't been great? Sexton. Who else did I grab there? McRae. Yeah. McRae and what's his name? Power. Have all been pretty poor. So would be nice to get to just the top line guys and just be set for the year. But that's just where my team's at the moment. I don't really have the cash generation like the top teams. So I'm just trying to make it work the best I can. And hopefully some of the players pay off. So this is probably something that I'll look at doing. Maybe, yeah. Definitely could even pay up for some of a better rookie, or drop this guy down to, what's his name? Yeah, a Thomas, and then I have, what's that? That's 15. No, that's one extra player there, which isn't terrible. Or I can just go with a Fisher this week. I could even do that, but that's insane. I have to pick up the 200k rookie, so that. It's one of those two I think I'll go with, but I'll discuss that a little bit more in my next video on Wednesday night, if not Thursday morning. But yeah, some trade advice, I guess, for the buyers. Really, this week is a lot of just downgrading, I'd say. Most people are in the scenario of just trying to get all the deadwood rookies off your field as best possible and try and field your 22 optimally. If you have 21 or 20, then that's still fine, but you realistically want to have your 22 if you can. That's the ultimate that you can get to. Yeah, and I guess just start putting together who you're targeting off their buys. So obviously, we've got like a Zorko, we've got a Dunkley, we've got a Sheasel, we've got Golden next week, so plenty of decent options. Even a Fisher, like I said, if you're looking at anyone else there. So all really good options, and you just want to start marking them out. Who's bottomed out in price, who's sort of jumping at the page. So maybe Sheasler's getting close to his bottom price. His role's looking really good, so if you don't have him, could look to jump on him. Golden has jumped up in the last couple of weeks, so yeah, he's still underpriced for what he's done. So what he has done in the past. Even go Sneaky Warner if you want to. I'm probably not quite as keen, but he's been pretty good. He's been pretty consistent, like lowest of 86 and highest of 117. So pretty small range there if you're looking for someone like that. Who else are we looking at? But round 13 by. Who are you coming off that? Maybe you're jumping on us wrong. I think I was looking at... Yeah, I was looking at Rosie, but maybe he's on the back burner now that he's dropping so quickly and he's got a high break even. So I don't see him amending that break even this week. So he could put one that could even wait. So look elsewhere. Could definitely just be an easy Sarong, who is a bit more pricey, but you got 3 trades, so you can definitely make it work. And a lot of people still have Sharp, so if you're looking, he could easily be trumped over. Especially a lot of people will jump straight on Tom Green as soon as Sharp's buys, so a lot of people can do that trade. And then round 15, round 14, sorry, who are we looking there? I've currently got Walsh in as sort of a target. It's a tough one. Yeah, not much else jumping at the page there. You got Colton, so maybe you can look at Cripps, but Walsh is the main target. Maybe the forward boys if you need a forward. Essendon, definitely Merritt. If you don't have him, I think he's going to be good after his bye. He's got a good run. No one at the catch you're really looking at. What's it called? Melbourne. If you don't have an Oliver, if he comes good, maybe a Petrarca if he has a decent run. He's cheap. Definitely a Gorn if you don't have him. Eagles, probably no one else you look in there. Maybe you can go with a bit of a pod if you want to go Duggan or a what's his name? McGovern. He's taking a lot of kick-ins, but not really putting up any relevant scores just because West Coast is shocking. And Suns, maybe you go on Anderson. Maybe you go what's his name? If you don't have a Flanders, if you don't have a Sexton, probably look at those options. Well, Sexton's an interesting one for me. I don't know if I move off of him in my round 14 buy or not, or hold him through. Obviously, we know the likes of Powell will be back, so maybe he gets dropped in that game. But definitely some good options, and that's probably my own advice. Just try and map out how your trades are going to go throughout this week, and try and obviously optimize your amount of players on field. The buys are definitely an interesting time, and I love them. I think they're a unique asset to the game, and it makes for some good strategic planning, and I love that. So, and for my season, I definitely couldn't have come a lot sooner, and yeah, I definitely need something to help me jump up in the ranks and help me take some of these better scores off the field. But hopefully, we can make some good progress in the rounds to come. We will see how we go. Definitely not in the contention for a Hilux or the hat this year, unfortunately. But that's just how fantasy is sometimes. So, not too concerned there. But I think that'll sort of do it for this week. I think I touched on everything that I wanted to. Obviously, we'll do a bit more of a deep dive in my next video where we talk about trade-ins. Just a quick sneak peek, I guess. We can look at who's the most traded in, who's the most traded out quickly. It's most traded out. Tom Power, interesting. Yeah, I can see why, but I'm personally not doing it. Some red dots here. Harvey Thomas makes sense. A lot of people just jumping off Whitfield. Interesting. Very interesting. Dusty Jones is injured. Harry Sheezel, people jumping off. Yeah, okay. I probably wouldn't do it, but yeah, okay. Tom Green. I wouldn't do that either, but sure. Harvey Thomas. Harvey Reid can go. Closey can go. Yeah. People jumping off Richards now that he's injured. Craig needs to go, yeah. Lots of good moves looks like they've been happening, and then who people are getting trading in. So obviously the two main rookies there, Harvey Thomas there also included. Ridley's up there, Will Day's up there. Boak, people jumping on Boak, 3K. Sexton, anyone that didn't jump on him last week. Salem, Crisp. So a lot of that mid-priced area, so about 700k is where everyone's looking at. So if you can get a big upgrade like a Dawson or these sort of boys, then you're definitely in a pretty good position to move up some ranks because you'll be one step ahead of the competition. So hopefully that's where you're at, and hopefully you're pushing to contend for the end of the year. These are definitely where the good coaches rise up. So But hopefully it will go well. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Please leave a like, subscribe, leave any questions in the comments. Again, I'll do the Q&A in my next video. So if you want your questions answered in a bit more depth, drop them down there. I will feature them in the video. And besides that, I'll catch you guys later on. Bye.